Everybody, welcome to the final Man Knows Hip Hop podcast show, episode 12.
Episode
Um,
12.
yeah, man. Our final show of 2021, the year that the show started. Uh, I've got the celebratory wine on deck. Cheers. Um, it's my birthday tomorrow, so we're celebrating today.
Happy
We're gonna
birthday
do
for
a
tomorrow,
roundup.
man.
Yeah, man. Bless up, man. We're gonna do a roundup today of our favorite albums and our highlights, and also some of our disappointments of 2021. Just a roundup. Um, I just wanted to take time really to thank you guys for really rocking with us, man. Like
Mm.
we've really been blown away by the response, the love that you guys have shown us. It's been like we literally started this just off the off chance. I was approached by someone who had liked my tweets and thought that I had a knowledge of hip hop. And he said, I'm thinking about doing a show called Man Knows Hip Hop. Like, would you be interested? And I said, okay, but I don't want to do it on my own. Um, so I hit up my guy E. We spoke about it for a couple of days, and because we were like, there's a million podcasts out there. You know what I
Mm.
mean? We don't want to really, follow what anyone else is doing or anything like that. We want to make it something that that's authentic. Um, and I think that you guys have really rocked with that, and we really appreciate that. So
100,
um,
man.
from from us, just it's just me and E talking, like just as we talk on the phone, you know what I mean, or whatever. We've tried to make it something that you guys can relate to, and from the comments and everything that you guys have been sending through. When we took a little hiatus this year, you guys really showed that you really do rock with us, man. So we really appreciate you. And next year,
Definitely, man.
it's definitely gonna be doing bigger and better, man. We got some plans for the show. So yeah, just a thank you to everybody really for rocking with us for this year. It was just something that was just an idea, and that's growing into something that we didn't really expect. So just big ups from me, your boy Slack as always, and my co-host extraordinaire.
E Major. This is Man Knows Hip Hop, the podcast that knows and celebrates hip hop, man. Just to second everything Stack has said, man. And another thing as well. I was in my mind just thinking about, man, it'd be good to do a little hip hop podcast. I had a few people saying to me, "Oh, you should think about doing one." And it was one of those ones I thought, yeah, I'd like to, but same, don't really want to do it on my own. I just toyed with the idea for a bit, and then there was a little period of time, and I thought, you know what, man, I might even try and do this thing, you know. And then it was literally that time Slack messaged me, and it was like, "Want to run something by you? What do you think about doing a podcast?" So I knew it was meant to be, man, because it was at that point I was thinking same sort of thing. You hit me up, and yeah, and it's just been smooth. Like we've not really had any like issues. It's been fun each week. Like we said, and we mean that from the bottom of our heart. You know, the feedback's been just like blowing us away. Really, people have really been supporting and being into it. Not just on social media, but even just like our own friends and
Mm,
family members as well. Just really getting behind it, and it's been fun, man. It's been a difficult year, as the last couple have been. Hopefully, you know, you've enjoyed what we're doing here. Like Slack said, there's a trillion and one podcast, man. So we take every view seriously. We appreciate everyone who's set aside an hour or two or whatever
mm.
to watch what we're doing. We don't take that lightly, man. So yeah, sincerely appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, facts, man. And I just wanted to say as well, man, we've never done a retake, we've never done a edit, we've never done everything that we've done has just been one take straight through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's just because me and E just we get on so well. So
Mm.
um, it's just been fun, and so we're just gonna continue to hit you with these crazy takes and see how we go. So yeah, we just wanted to wrap up, man. It's been like E said, man. It's been one of those years, man. I've had some amazing highs. Um, Recently, I've had a couple lows, and we
Mm.
took a break. But as a whole, it's been like an amazing year for me personally. Um, so yeah, just this has been part of that as well.
Mm.
So yeah, man, we just wanted to wrap it up in a nice little bowl, a little celebration. We got the juice on deck. So E man, get
Yeah,
us
no
started,
wine,
bro.
but I got some flavored water, bro. I'm boring tonight. I got some flavored
Nah,
water,
man,
man. But yeah,
it's my birthday, man, so I'm allowed to juice the wine on deck, bro. You know.
do it, bro. Do it, man.
So
Celebrate the thing, man.
what we're gonna do, man, we're gonna kick off with our favorite 10 albums of 2021. So this ain't the best albums. This ain't to be debated about. This is our personal favorite 10
Thank
albums
you.
of the year that we've listened to, that we've enjoyed, that we've played a lot. I played a lot more music outside of 2021, if I'm being completely honest. But these are the albums that were released this year that we've played the most. So, E, you want to run off your top 10, and I'll just
Yeah,
plug
let's
in
do
my
it.
track.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, no,
Crack
no,
on,
all
bro.
good, man. All good. Right. So, as Slack said, man, just to make that very clear, these are our favorites. We have not put them in order. To be honest, I don't usually do top 10 albums of the year because I just find it so hard. So I definitely couldn't put in order. So these are just our favorites, man. So just before we actually get into it, though, just for the sake of the listeners and just, you know what I mean, interaction and understanding, Slack, what's your, for you personally, what's your criteria? Why have you chosen these albums? Like, what criteria are you looking for it to make your top 10 of the year?
Beats, rhymes. I would say relatability, but by that I mean something that I don't just want to hear hoes close cars on albums. Like there's a time for that, that's cool, but that's nothing that I would really want to hear on every tune. I want a bit of variety, but most importantly, replay value.
Right.
I want something that I don't want to play just one time, because that happens all the time. An album drops at 12 o'clock, and by 12:02, it's a classic. It's the greatest thing that hip hop's ever done. For me, I need to be able to listen to it all the time. I want to be able to have that feeling of, I need to listen to that again. I need to listen to that again. I need to listen to it in the house. I need to listen to it in the car. I need to put it on while I'm in the shower. You know what I mean? One of those. So for me, replay value is high, because there's been albums that I've listened to once and I thought, yeah, that's cool, but I've never gone back to it.
Right.
So these ones are ones that I play more often. I've got that replay value, got that variety, that grown man talk, those soulful beats and music that just sticks to your ribs, like the old stuff used to do.
No, I hear that. Yeah, man, same. So, like you said, for me, I think for keys replay value, man, you hit the nail on the head. Sometimes people are just like, yeah, this is a really good album, and you can hear good things, but there's not that push or that compel to go back to it. So obviously those albums wouldn't have made the list for me personally, and I've only gone by what I've heard. Believe it or not, we don't hear everything. Well, I shouldn't say we. I can't talk for you, but I don't hear everything. There's a lot of albums I probably haven't heard from this year.
There's some stuff I got to go back to.
Right, exactly. So if I've only heard it once or heard a couple of tracks or something, I haven't put that down. So I'm only going by what I've actually heard, what I've spent some time with, not just skimmed through. So yeah, okay, let's kick it off, man. So I'm gonna go at my 10. Like I said, I've had to write them down and make a note. So not in order, okay. But first of all, I'm gonna say Conway the Machine, La Macrina, however you pronounce it. Polarizing album. I think I've heard a lot of people say they like it, they don't. For me, going by what I've listened to the most this year, and want to go back to and play tracks off, I think it's a brilliant album, man. Conway, one of my favorite rappers at the moment. I think he delivered on that track. I think he's got tracks on that that's just hard. 630 tip off for me. That's a repeater for me, man. Just bars on top of bars. As I've said before, if I had to pick, I'm a beats man, and I think it's got good beats on there. Scatterbrain with Ludacris. Not saying it's the best, but it's definitely one of my favorite guest verses this year. It just felt like classic Ludacris again, man. It was just fun. It was comical. I just really enjoyed that track, man. Blood Roses with Jay Ski. I just thought it was a good, solid album, man. So definitely hit that a lot. So Conway the Machine. I'm then gonna go Keep It Griselda. I'm gonna go Benny the Butcher, Pyrex Picasso. Once again, I know even me and Slackers spoke about this album a lot. I'm a big fan of this album. Every single track on the album I love. For me, it feels like Plugs I Met One Benny, or even Benny before that, Tanner Talk Benny. It just, every track's hard. The features, the production, the bars. I felt like this year or over the last couple of years, Benny kind of lost the step for me. If you asked me a couple of years ago who's my like top 3 rappers, I would have definitely mentioned Benny the Butcher. But I feel with the stuff he was putting out, he was slipping down. Like, he weren't really someone I was really thinking of anymore. But Pirates Picasso, for me, just really brought him back to my attention again. And I know I've heard a lot of people say it's old material. Either way, I'm going by when he dropped it, and he dropped it this year. So, dope project, man. Love that. Pirates Picasso, the track, Flood the Block, Power Drill as well with El Camino. Just throwing out a couple of tracks off the albums that I really like. Number 3, I'm going to go with Crisis, the Hour of Crisis. Crisis is a very, I don't want to say hit and miss as in he's dope or he's rubbish. He's not, but he's got a lot of forgettable beats for me. Like, not a lot of his beats are like, oh, this is fantastic. But the thing with Crisis, I think when he hits. It's like, right, this is like tremendous. You know what I'm saying? And I think the Hour of Crisis, a dope album, man. The features were good. The production was really good on there. A couple of tracks I like, and I'm going to shock everyone. Anyone who knows me, I'm going to shock you now. One of my favorite tracks of that is actually Mr. Big Mouth Part 2, which is, of course, with De La Soul. Everyone knows. You know, I said what we said in our controversial comments last week. Not a De La fan. But see, I can be objective. Big track. It's probably the track I played the most of that album. Obviously, Devil Wears Designer as well. Ruben Vincent, Ian Kelly. And The Disrespect with Sar Rock and Rhapsody. 5 mic track for me. But yeah, love it. So, Crisis. Number 4, I'm going to go with Dark Low and Havoc, Extreme Measures. As we mentioned on our Apollo Brown and Steady review, I'm a Dark Low fan. Do you know what I'm saying? His voice, his flow, just his energy. I love that album. It's the right level of darkness for me. I personally feel you could have took any track of that album and put it on Mobb Deep's Hell on Earth. Their energy gels. Havoc is on it, spitting as well. Every track for me, I really enjoyed. Some of my favorites were Zombieland, Dirty Work, and Extreme Measures with Styles P. So that's definitely one that I spun a lot, especially when it dropped. It was in my ears a lot. Extreme Measures. Number 5, going to go with Sky Zoo, All the Brilliant Things, which is probably on most people's top 10 list this year. What can you say? A brilliant album. Productions, and this is what Sat was talking about at the beginning, bro. What you saying just about the maturity and the content as well. The production on that. Free Jewelry is a repeater. I must have listened to it about 4 times in a row when I first heard it. Brilliant track, just love it. Sky Zoo's a top tier MC, as we've mentioned before. Free Jewelry, Soft Eyes with Black Soul, Humble Brag. Few tracks on there, man, just real repeaters for me, and I go back to on a production level and on a bar level as well. It's good to have the both, so definitely All the Brilliant Things. Number 6, as I mentioned before, Stally and Apollo Brown, Black Light. A couple of standout tracks, Love Me Not, Sky Zoo, to mention them again. We Outside, Black Light, the title track, which you know it's a duplicate, but hard album for me.
Have you heard the original now, Black Light? That's
yeah.
hard. There's a video for it. That's a hard tune. It's just a shame it went on the flipping album that we got.
This is the thing, man. This is the thing. Yeah, exactly. But there's definitely something went wrong there. Probably too late to pull back or what have you. But yeah, hard album. Loved it. Everyone knows. As of right now, I mean, Primo's my goat of all goats for production, but my favorite producer right now is probably Apollo Brown. Just where I'm at in life and musically and what I want to hear, man, his music is just thought-provoking, man. I just love it, man. So yeah, that's a really good project. Not a big Stally fan, if I'm honest, but that was a decent project, man. I like that. Definitely in my top 10 of the year. And I'm going to go with number 7. Remember I said these are not in order, but 7th one I'm listing is I Am God, Eternal Reflection.
Yeah, shout out to my dude, I Am God.
Man. Definitely, man. And yeah, anyway, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, had to mention that. It's a joint album of him. All the tracks are produced by Custom Made. I know he's dropped a couple albums this year, hasn't he? For me though, both were hard. Both were really good, man. Like quality, quality projects, man. But this one for me stood out for me a little bit more. Content, subject matter, stuff he's talking on there. He can spit, man. He's a rapper's rapper, man. A humble guy as well. Good guy. First time I met him was on, or even heard of him, I should say, was on Kill's Apartment 5B. We was both on an episode together. So shout out to Kill and the Apartment 5B crew. So yeah, we was on an episode together, obviously talking, promoting the stuff after that episode. When I listened to him, to be honest, it ain't come out of rotation. So shout to I Am God, that's GAWD. Shout out to him with that. A couple of tracks, favorites of there were Chicago with Hate, Food for Thought, and Different Breed. Number 8, gonna go with Rome Streets and Future Rave, Razor's Edge. As we said on our Rome Streets and Ransom review last week, Rome Streets is one of the best spitters in the game right now, I think. Everything, man. I think his flow, his voice, I think he's a dope MC, man. And I think the connection with Future Wave really works. And it was a good project, one I go back to, listen to quite a bit. Most High, definitely stayed in rotation. Envy with Daniel's son, No Sample with Starker as well. Good project. Number 9, easily easy candidate for top 10 album for me of the year was RJ Payne, Leatherface 3. Once again, he's one of my top 5 rappers right now. RJ Payne, I big him up a lot on the timeline. I think he's a monster. It's the only way I can describe him. He's a beast. He's an animal. Seriously, man. But he belongs in the jungle, man. Bar for bar, he's just angry, man. Yeah, and he knows it, man. He's just an incredible MC. I love the darkness of that. Just the projects he's given us on the whole, man. He needs his flowers, man. Favorite tracks off of that would have been Infamous Payne, produced by Havoc, Kane versus Undertaker with Flea Lord, and Black Mask also with Flea Lord. But yeah, to be honest, the whole project, I love it, man. He's got some real OGs on there as well. Redman, Rebel INS. Very good project, man. RJ Payne, Animal, kills that. And then lastly, which was a surprise for me, if I'm honest, but it stayed in rotation, is Vinny Paz, Burn Everything That Bears Your Name. And the only reason why I say it's a surprise for me is because I've never really been that hot on Vinny Paz or Jedi Mind Tricks on the whole. I like them, appreciate them, got their projects, got tracks I like, but I wouldn't think of listing them as my favorites. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I checked out the Everything That Bears Your Name, and it stayed in rotation for a long time, and I've gone back to quite a few tracks of it often. Vinny doesn't lose his hunger. I don't think he loses a step. You can't listen to too much Vinny Paz though, man. It'll turn you into an angry guy, man. Do you know what I'm saying? But love that project. A couple of the tracks I like: Machine Gun Etiquette with Billy Dan's, Body Bag Philosopher, and White on White Crime. But it was hard to just pick a top 3 because, like I said, it's a long project, like it's a meaty project, but it's decent, bro. Yeah, very good album. Shall I throw out a couple of honorable mentions now, or do you want to do your 10?
Yeah, I'll do my 10, and then we can both kind of mix our honorable mentions up.
Perfect. So that's my 10 for you, man. Once again, yeah, not taking anything away from any others, but they're the 10s that I've really sat and spent a lot of time with and gone back to a lot, listened to a lot. So yeah, slap. Yes.
All right, bro. In no particular order. I think the first one that really stood out to me was the Lloyd Banks Course of the Inevitable. Merely because he was coming with 3 verses. The production was dope all the way through. He was back to punchline killer Banks. Yeah, it was just nice, just all the way around. I just really enjoyed it. It just felt like old school hip hop again. And yeah, like I said, just the fact that he went back to 3 verses per song, I thought that was dope, man. He wasn't outshined by any of the guests. It just felt like he really picked the guest verses like really sensibly. The they all fit. Like there was nothing kind of out of place, and it just felt like an album. You know what I mean? It felt like it just felt like he had put some thought into it. It wasn't just let me just put something out. So yeah, I really enjoyed that project, man, top to bottom. It's something I've played quite a bit. I play that quite a bit in the mornings as well, like when I'm showering and stuff. That's on in the shower and that.
Okay.
I really appreciated that. It kind of just brought back the essence a little bit. Sky Zoo, all the brilliant things. I think that's going to be on most people's top 10 list. I don't think you can really fault that album in any kind of way. Just the artwork, the bars, the beats, the concept, the songwriting, just everything as a package. It was just produced really well, top to bottom. Rapped really well. Sky Zoo, as you said, is one of the premier MCs that we've got right now, and I think he definitely deserves flowers that he doesn't regularly get. But if you go through that man's discography, there's literally nothing that you can say is below par, which is
100%.
You know, in this age of people just streaming stuff, he still continues to put thought, and he actually gives a shit about his music, and you can tell that he doesn't want to just put out anything. He wants to put out some quality stuff, so that means a lot. And yeah, we appreciate you guys, man. It's really dope, man. I love the Loot album, Goldmouth. That's my number 3.
Okay.
That album is very personal. He's talking about a lot of shit on there. Some real kind of personal, thought-provoking. The tracks are nice. His flow's nice. The way he raps, he's really passionate. It just, again, top to bottom. So he touches on some real themes on there. But he's got some tracks with some nice bounce, but he still keeps it tied to the subject matter. So yeah, I really enjoyed the Loot project, man. That dude was going through some stuff, either when he wrote the album or prior to, but he opened his heart on the album, and I really appreciate that. Appreciate that music, man. So I really enjoyed that project, and I recommend it highly for anyone. Number 4, sorry, is Dark Low, Charlie Pope. Dark Low and V Don, man. When them two link up, it's over. Like V Don is the best producer for Dark Low. The Timeless album is still heat, top to bottom. Then they did the Prophecy, fire again, and now this. Man, I play this album so much, like it's ridiculous. I shouldn't be playing that kind of music, you know, so early in the morning. You know what I mean? If I gotta run off to a meeting, a client meeting or something like that, and I got Dark Low on my mind, bro. It's listening to that stuff. It's mad, bro. But the music is just so good that it takes me back to it, because his style is just so. It's difficult to explain, but he's just so raw. Like his voice and the stuff that he talks about, and the beat, like V Don, just you can tell like he makes those beats for Dark Low, man.
100%, 100%.
But it just fits him like perfectly. Every tune is like, I don't skip a tune on any of their projects that they've done together. Like they're a great producer and MC tag team. I really like them together. So yeah, I love the album, man. Definitely one of my favorites of this year. 100% one of my most played this year as well. JR next, my number 5, Broken Easy. JR, I first heard on Dream Baby off 1%, the Ransom album, and his verse on there was fire. Like I rewind that verse a lot to this day, because the stuff that he's saying on there, I suggest everyone who's listening to this now, listen to his verse on Dream Baby off that album, and he's saying some real stuff that needs to be said in hip hop. From there, he really caught my ear. So to see his rise this year, to see him dropping multiple sort of EPs, getting some real recognition, and then dropping this album, which top to bottom is just he's got so much thought-provoking rhymes. The music is really well produced, and there's no like major time producers on there or anything like that, but it doesn't need to be. Like if the music's good and it fits the MC and fits what you know,
that's all we need.
They can present like a soundscape. which they did, I can respect it, man. And great job, man. Like I really like JR's music. I really like what he talks about. Like you can tell he's a smart brother. You know what I mean? Just from what he speaks about, the way he presents what he's speaking about, the way he constructs his verses. You can tell he came up under Ransom or side by side with Ransom, because Ransom's a smart dude as well.
Yeah.
I can really see why them two gel musically, because they both have some real. If you listen to what they're both saying in their music, both of them have got some real gems. Like they talk some real sense in their stuff, man. So I listen to that a lot as well this year. I go back to that hell of a lot. Number 6 is Matt Homie and Pray for Haiti. I really enjoyed that album a lot. Matt Homie gets a lot of hype, and I think he's one of them artists that, along with like Andre 3000 and those kind of artists that are a bit mystical. You know, they don't give interviews much. They're not in the spotlight. They're not on TMZ. They're not on World Star Hip Hop. You know, smacking their baby mums and all that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to reach out to them kind of thing. You know what I mean? They're not gonna put themselves out and doing some tomfoolery. And Matt Homie, you never see his face. Like he's always got his bandana on. So I think that happens a lot though. Like if people don't have access to someone, or if they don't hear from them, like they'll overrate them. So anything they get, it's like, oh my god, like they start salivating.
Yeah, 100%.
That always kind of not put me off him. Like I listened to some of his earlier stuff and I was like, it's cool, it's good, but it's not like next level hip hop like what a lot of what these people were saying.
I've never got into him, man, to be honest.
I like his stuff, man. He's got some really good albums, man. And what I really like about him is he's unique, and I scream a lot for that in hip hop. I want to hear rappers be unique, like what it used to be. You know, you got to have style, you got to be original, as KRS once said. So I really like the fact that there's no other Matt Homie. You know what I mean? And there can't be. Some of the stuff that he's bad clever. Like he's got various ways of saying different stuff. The way he puts words together, the way he sounds like he's relaxed, but he also doesn't at the same time. He's just so effortless with it, man. And I really like the way that he presents himself. And I really like the fact that he's not limelight hungry. Like he'll drop an album and be like, "Yeah, give me $1,000 for it," and everyone's like, "What?" People are buying it. People are buying it.
Oh,
I mean, like. So I was like, do you actually want people to hear your music? Or so I like that. I like the fact that he's not like putting his stuff on streaming and he's making you go and buy his shit. You know what I mean? If you want to hear me, you've got to pay for the privilege. And I really love that attitude. So I've always kind of been into him. Some of his music didn't hit for me, but a lot of it did. Like Duck Season and Bulletproof Law and the stuff he did with Muggs. Wap Conjo and stuff like that. Yeah, man, he shot a lot of good stuff, man. So I think my favorite from him probably which album is it? It escapes me now. Yeah, it escapes me now. It's an obvious one, but yeah. I really like Matt Homie, so it was good to see him come out with this album with the Griselda backing, with the producers curated by West Side Gun or whatever. So it made it really cohesive. The Conductor Williams and him was a kind of a good combo because he's kind of off kilter with his raps and Conductor Williams is kind of off kilter with his production. So it kind of went quite well together. So yeah, I played that quite a bit. The next one is Apollo Brown, Black Light. I'll say Apollo Brown instead of... no, I'm joking, man. Apollo Brown and Stully, Black Light. Although I go back for Apollo Brown, I'm not gonna lie. Stully is like a guest feature on the album. If I'm honest, for me, I'm not saying.
No, I hear that.
I'm saying for me, it's the music first, and then Stully. But musically, I love the album. I think Apollo just creates some really great albums, man. Like he knows how to put an album together and bring the best out of MCs. And I said before that his work with Joel Ortiz is the best Joel has ever sounded. And that's even with Slaughterhouse and Dre and everything else that he's done. When he linked with Apollo, that sounded like Apollo gave him some stuff, some real good stuff, and he's done the same here with Stally. I've gone back to the album a lot since it dropped, which is only like 3 weeks ago, a month ago.
Yeah.
But I've listened to that a lot, which tells you that again, they've made music where they're talking about, you know, grown adult themes, grown adult music. Apollo Brown has got that real soulful sound that sticks to your ribs that you want to hear again and again.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that album. Next dude on the list, number 8, is Husk Kingpin. What is Husk? Husk Kingpin. He's had a hell of a year, bro.
Yeah, bro, definitely.
Like, my dude has not missed this whole entire year. Like, he hasn't missed with anything that he's dropped, and that whether that be the Portis House album, whether it be the Sex album, the Sex EPs, whether it be the Bolio EP that he did the Firm, then he dropped the Christmas Husk, and all of them were fire. Like, that's crazy, man. That is
I actually forgot about a couple of those drops that they would. See, so much music comes, you kind of. I forgot.
Yeah,
I thought a couple of them was last year, but I'm forgetting. That's a lot of projects in 1 year, man.
And they're all good. Like, they're all good. So, man, yeah, just well done.
Shout out Husk Kingpin.
He had a hell of a year, bro. The next one is Mickey Facts, Blue and Nuts, The Narrative. That's just, it's a short album, but let me tell you something. Nuts is probably one of the most underrated producers in hip hop. Like, I haven't heard a trash or a beat from Nuts, and I'm like, man, what was he like? That guy is a high quality producer. His beat, his knock, the knock on his beats, and the soul in his beats, and the drums, everything. Like, he's got a sound that no one's duplicating, and I can see why Busta Rhymes always goes back for a Nuts beat, man. Yeah, I love Nuts' stuff. So, and Mickey Facts can spit, obviously, and Blue is one of my favorite MCs. I like the way that Blue raps, and I always have since I first heard of him with XR. So to have them all combined together, it was a bit of a crazy combo. But I'm like, wow, I'm glad this happened. You know what I mean? Because
and it worked well, man.
It works really, really well. I love the album. I once it finishes, I'll run it from the top again because it's so short. But again, I've played that album a hell of a lot this year, and I really enjoyed that. And then the last one is number 10. As you had, Crisis, Hour of Crisis. Crisis is has always been, since I heard him first, one of my favorite producers because he's got, again, I think Ninth Wonder even said Crisis is better than me. You know what I mean? And a few times Crisis has had that, like on the Minstrel Show album, although a lot of people only think of Ninth Wonder when they speak about that album.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
My favorite beat on there was from Crisis. The Watch Me song is my favorite beat on there. So Crisis has always dropped fire as far as he's done a few beat tapes as well. He's got fire on there.
Same with the Chitlin mixtape, isn't it? Like one of my favorite tracks was there.
Yeah, I mean, his track. He's always had standout music, and again, very similar to Nuts in the way that he utilizes soul samples in his music, the way his drums are, his bass lines, just everything that he incorporates in his music. Very soulful. So to be a part of the Soul Council makes sense. Both him and Nuts are part of the Soul Council.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that sound just is all me. Basically, I'm all for that soulful hip hop, nice bass lines, melodies, and they've got it all, man. So yeah, that album, as you already said, was just, I just really loved it, man. The guest features, the beats, it just all worked really nicely. And again, I listened to that a hell of a lot. So that's my top 10, man. My top 10 rounded out.
Solid 10, man. Solid 10. All right, man. So we did throw out a few honorable mentions only because it's very, I'll definitely speak for me, but it's very hard. You just feel guilty. You just feel like there's so much you're leaving off, man.
Nah, some just deserve to be in the 10, but there's only 10. You know what I mean? So it ain't like they're runners up. It's just like, they were dope as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few for me that I mentioned for honorable mention. I'll shut my 5 out and you can shut yours. So I'll just reel them off. So it's Ty Ferris, No Cosign, Just Cocaine 4.
Ty Ferris, man. Yeah, I like that album.
solid. Every track, man. He's a spitter, man.
Yeah, man, for real.
He just gives you bars on bars with good production, man. Killed that. Lloyd Banks, of course, of the inevitable. Sorry, that would have been an honourable mention. Styles P and Havoc, Wreckage Manor. Yeah, that was good, man. I did enjoy that a lot, man. Mickey Fax, Blue, Knots, The Narrative, also honourable mention. And as another honourable mention, I did actually put down Backward Sweetie, her drop, Christina Schulte. Reason I put that down as an honourable mention, I think when we was doing our last episode, you was mentioning her as well. I did check out some songs. That would have been, I think that would have been in my top 10. The reason I've only put it down as an honourable mention is because I just don't think I've spent enough time with it. But the brief time I spent with it, it's made such an impact in that brief time. I think it deserves a mention. I think it's just an incredible album. Production's hard. She spits, and bro, she's not just rapping, man. Like, she's teaching. Do you know what I'm saying? As you know, she's educating, man.
It's needed, man. It's needed.
That's exactly, and instilling some beauty, man. So they're my 5. But once again, so much more I could have put down. I really struggled even getting it down to this 15. I personally think it's been a good year. But what would you say your 5?
It has been a good year, man. It's been a good year. It hasn't been a smash year or a breakout year, but it's been
solid.
It's been solid. Naps and Dreads, Blood Clot 2. Spoke to my soul, fresh out of Jamaica. Man was spitting those, but I had never heard of Duke before. But I can't remember where it popped up. But I saw Blood Clot 2 and I was like, I need to hear this. So I played it. Dude was hard, and I was like, shit, how have I never heard of this dude? Where's Blood Clot 1? You know what I mean? So big up to my guy, man, Naps and Dreads. I love the album. I've played it a lot. Definitely, it was so like doing a top 10 is hard, man. This is why I don't do lists, because that could so easily be in my top 10. You know what I mean? Just old school hip hop beats, bars, hard raps. I just the title alone, man, and just the stuff he was saying. Like, he was really talking some yard shit on there. Like, if you're Jamaican or West Indian, like, you proper catch, some of the shit my man's talking about on there. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, man. Big Boy, and Sleepy Brown, the big sleepover, fresh album, and it's honorable mention only because, as you said about Backward Sweetie album, I haven't spent that much time, but what I did spend with it, I've spun it maybe 3 times. But I really love it, man. I really like that.
It's cool, man.
Big Boy is so dope, underrated, but I don't give a fuck what people don't rate him. I know what he's worth. And it's from day one, from 94 till now, and my man's still spitting, but people want to talk about Dre just like he's the only member of Outkast. But anyway, that's a subject for another day. Big album, love it. Rome Street's and Future Wave, Razor's Edge. Rome Street's one of the standout artists of the year for sure. Being very consistent, being elevating every time he drops a project. I think Future Wave gave him the perfect beats as well to rap over. So that combination, I think that combination went much better than the DJ Muggs combination, if I'm being honest.
100%.
I think Future Wave's underrated, but he's got some beats, man. So people need to check my dude out. 2 more. Nas. No, 3 more, sorry. So I might go over 5, but these 3 need to be mentioned for me.
That's cool.
Nas, King's Disease 2. When I first time I heard it, I was like, I really like this album. Let me play it in the car. So I was going on a journey somewhere, played it in the car, and I was like, I still like this album. I don't like Hit Boy at all. But it feels like Nas feels that Hit Boy gives him what he wants at this moment in time. And I'm glad to see that Nas is getting success off of that album. Whether or not I think that is, amazing or whatever. I think for where Nas is, I think he gave us a good album. Because there's people who, Nas is, he's into other stuff, man. Like, I don't think rap is or rapping is,
His
you know,
priority.
his agenda or priority list. So I think for where he is in life, you know, he's touching 50 and he's making a lot of money doing directing and brands and ventures and this. So to make this album, I think was quite impressive, to be honest with you.
He's inspired, definitely.
Because yeah, exactly, bro, exactly. And if it took Hit Boy to inspire him, who am I to tell him any different? So I like, this is the weird thing. I like the album, like I do. Like I don't like the Eminem verse and EPMD. I don't understand.
It ruins the track, bro.
It ruins the track. EPMD was on there too short. The beat didn't fit them either. It sounded like it was squeezed onto this weird beat. Eminem just does what Eminem does and just ruins the song. So there was a couple of tunes that I didn't like the beat on Death Row East, but I like the storytelling.
Yeah.
But I think if that had a better beat, that could have been untouchable. So there's a couple, 3-4 songs that I didn't care for. But then after that, he goes on like the Store Run, the tune with Lauryn Hill. He's got a nice little run of songs that I like, but I don't go back to it, which is weird. And I think
that's why I didn't list it.
I just think it's the Hit Boy thing, rather than Nas. I wouldn't say Nas was rapping, obviously not at his, you know, not at It Was Written levels or anything like that. But he wasn't unlistenable. You know what I mean? He was. I like a lot of the stuff that he was actually talking about. You know, he was talking topics on there. So I like the album, but it's just nothing that, you know, I run back to. The next one is Topaz Jones, Don't Go Telling Your Mama. Yeah, I love that album. It's irreverent, it's humorous, it's got great production, good rapping. When I said about, I sent out a tweet the other day talking about rappers should put together a collection of songs rather than making bodies of work. And I think every album that I've mentioned have been bodies of work. That's the difference. None of these albums was just tunes put together. These have been constructed. Start the Sky Zoo album, the Lloyd Banks album, you know, the Crisis, like all of those albums have been, you can tell they've been put together. And this Topaz album is exactly the same. Like it's been put together really well. Top to bottom, it's just good. He's just different. He's not rapping like anybody else. He's funny. So yeah, I really enjoyed that album. And the last one is the same as you, man. Shout out to Backwards Sweetie, the Christina Shante album. I had never heard of her before. She followed me on Twitter and I followed her. And when she said my album shopping, I was like, yeah, I'm going to support sis. You know what I mean? She said something. She was like, my album is a diss track to white supremacy. And as soon as she said that, she had my attention. I was like, of course, I'm all in now. I want to hear this. So when I listened to it, man, I was like, sis is doing it. Like, she's killing it. And as we spoke about on our last podcast, was no one's doing that now. We need more. We need more people doing it. So like, big up for her for taking the reins, saying what needs to be said, like teaching, talking sense, talking about what's going on now, talking about what's happened in the past, like shouting out all, you know, the people that the police have brutally murdered and make it, you know, just creativity. Like the beats are dope, the rapping is like fire, like everything's there, the concept is there. So I want to see her like have a really good success, man, because she deserves it with that. More people need to hear it. Yeah, it needs to be spoken about a lot more, and I want to hear more of our people championing that album, because it's something that needs to really be out there. You know what I mean?
Agreed, man. Fully.
So those are my honorable mention albums of the year.
Solid five, man. Okay, all right, that's all good.
Who's counting?
Oh yeah. Who's counting? What's the extra one between friends? Man?
Right, man. So our favorite MCs. Like, let's drop our 3 favorite MCs for. And this ain't best again, but before you start jumping up and down talking about whatever, this is what we preferred, our personal favorites of this year, not of all time, just 2021. So go ahead, bro. Like, who had you press and rewind this year?
I'm going to be honest, man. I think it's weird, because if it was last year, the list would be completely different, man. But going solidly by this year, and they may not have dropped anything this year, but this is who I've been listening to the most this year, if I had to say. I would say definitely RJ Payne. Not just the projects he's dropped this year, but just going back to a lot of his... I know I always talk about that, if cocaine could talk, but, bro, there's not many series you know, that's so many, and you can just pick any one,
He's up
and
to
it's
number 7
hard.
now, isn't it? Because the 6 was
Yeah,
fire.
yeah, exactly. So 7 should be coming. Yeah, incredible. I've been listening to a lot of RJ Payne, man. So yeah, for me, my top 3 this year will probably be RJ Payne, Conway. I'm listening to a lot of Conway the Machine as well, and Sean P, man. God bless the dead, man. I know he's not with us, but I have to mention him because I don't know why, man. Not I don't know why, but you know, you just go through different moods and times. But I've been listening to a lot of Helter Skelter and a lot of Sean P this year. Stuff that I've heard many times
Be in my top
before.
3 pretty much any year, to be honest. But
I don't know what it is, man. Just this, I've just been listening to him and appreciating him even more this year. It's weird because I'll probably get gunned down for this, but he's not like a top tier lyricist. He's not, do you know what I mean? But I just think his bars, the humor, his energy, I just think he's incredible, man. Like we lost a good one there, man. But that would probably be my top 3, my personal top 3 for the year. RJ Payne, Conway, Sean P. That's who I've been listening to the
I
most this
disagree
year.
with E, by the way. I think Sean P is a top tier lyricist, so you can jump on him for that one later.
You know what it is though. I hear you, and I know what. That's why I said people gun me down for this, because I don't know, when I think of lyricism, I'm just thinking of like intricacies, maybe even elite storytelling. I just feel like, not that he doesn't do them well, but I don't know if I would say he's in a lyricism category for me. He's a rapper.
But don't the whole point of Sean P is that you know that he could do whatever he wants. Like if he like
if he wanted to,
he can just play a rap. Yeah, if he wanted to. Like he's playing. He's literally told you on tunes like this ain't shit to me. Like I could do whatever in my sleep, and he can. Like if you listen to his albums, most of the time he's just messing about, just throwing stuff, and it still sounds fire. But
and this is what I enjoy about him.
And this is why I liked him, because you can tell when he's just playing about, and you can tell when he's like on a subject, like when he did "I Love You, Bitch" and broke his rapper, you know, like he stayed. So he could literally.
He can do it, yeah. You know, when I would say Sean P was not going by what I'm talking about. When I would say he was really on the lyricism part, was when he was Tall Sean. Do you know what I'm saying? That's when I would say he was really on the lyricism hard. I think when he had his, I don't know if rebranding is the right word, but obviously when he went on his solo run and
when he put Duck Down on his back, yeah.
I just feel like he then became more of a.
He changed his style, for sure.
Yeah, he changed his style. He's having fun. Like you said, he knows he can do it, and we know he can do it. So that's what I mean when I say maybe not like a top tier lyricist. I don't think he tried to be super lyrical.
No, he was just great at what he did. So he was like, do you know what? But yeah, he's been on enough tunes where I'm like, this guy is just.
He doesn't.
crazy.
Yeah.
Even the whole Random Acts album, like he just kills it. Like
heavy. That's still. And he's funny, bro. Like just the stuff he says is just so like.
Matter of fact,
from Brooklyn, like, you come from who cares? Yeah. Like, it's just it's the things he says, man. It's like, bro, how'd you get away with that, man?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of one of his tunes, he was like, "Is that bacon? No, don't make me smack you, bro." Like he's just hilarious, man. He's
that's what I mean, man. Dude. He's a funny guy.
I can listen to him all day, and his he hasn't got a bad album.
Nah,
not one. No, even the ones after he passed are still good. Like shout out to Bernadette for doing what she did, man, because that quality control is hard, bro. A lot of these rappers who have passed, man, their posthumous albums have been shit.
Yeah, nah, it's quality, bro.
You know what I mean? He's still, definitely, man. Like, Sean P will always be one of my favorite MCs for sure. But for me, this year, got to be Dark Low, merely because he shot 3 projects. His health ain't the greatest, but he still dropped fire. He's on his way to prison, but he still dropped fire. I think he's doing 7 years or so.
Wow.
His partner in crime is doing 45 years.
Mad.
And for him to have his work ethic that he had this year, he dropped a project with V-Don, a project with Harry Fraud, and a project with Havoc this year. That shows mad versatility. Because although V-Don and Havoc, you could say that, you know, their beats will be in the same lane. because they're both quite, dark, hard
Agreed.
hip hop.
Mm.
Harry Fraud is more of the sample based, kind of more strings and flutes and shit.
Mm.
So for him to do 3 projects and they were all nice, the Harry Fraud one was cool, but the other 2 were like hard. Like I really enjoyed. So for him to do 3 projects that I liked, you got to be mentioned like immediately. Huss Kingpin has to be mentioned because, of course, like we mentioned earlier, he's had a hell of a year.
Mm.
Hasn't missed with one project, being very consistent. Quality control is obviously crazy. He's not releasing any bullshit, but he's continually hitting us. So God only knows what he's probably just going to go on chill on the beach in 2022 because
Definitely.
he's killed us for 2021, man. Just
Mm.
quality projects, as I said. And I guess the third would have to be Mark Homie, man, because again, 2 quality projects. Pray for Haiti and Hot Candles. Just what can you say? I've already said what I said about Mark Homie and his work. So those 3, man, stellar year, all 3.
Mm. I hear that, man. No, good picks. Like I said, I've never really been a big Mac Homie fan, but I recognise the work he's
His
putting
music
out,
has
man.
been elusive, to be fair. So a lot of people, like, you really either had to know of him and know how to get hold of his, or spend money to get hold of his work, or know someone who's got his work for you to hear it. So yeah, I'd fully understand if people aren't quite up on him yet. But what tends to happen is a lot of people, once they hear his stuff, then they're like, okay. So Haitian Body Odor, that was the album I was trying to think of earlier. HBO, dope album. He's got so much in his catalog. Like he's got EPs, he's got albums, and he's just got so much stuff, man. But yeah, this year,
That's the thing. I've heard I've heard some of his work. It hasn't grabbed me. But yeah, no, I hear you.
he's not for everyone, for sure. He's like,
Definitely, yeah.
he's a Marmite. He's literally like, you like him or you don't. There's no one I know that's in between. It's either, yeah, I don't really fuck with him, or he's brilliant, he's amazing.
Yeah.
You really get anything in between with him. So that's fair, bro.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
All
right.
So let me see what's next on the agenda. Okay, so 3 albums that disappointed you in 2021.
All right.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, kick us off, bro.
All right. So anyone that knows me will know that I'm a big fan of Graph, and I've been waiting for a very long time for him to blow up, because I thought around 2006 maybe, I thought he was next. I really thought he was gonna be that dude for however long. Him, Saigon, and Papoose, that kind of era. I thought them guys were gonna be. And Graph, he dropped a mixtape. Like he did the Oracle, and he did another couple, and he had a rap where he went over the Shiznit by Snoop, and he was just going fuck batshit over this beat. Like I kept rewinding it. He was just incredible, man. And I liked a lot of his projects. Like he did a 1988 dope project, like a mixtape. He did something about Hennessy or something. So he's dropped some nice mixtapes like recently as well. But it's always been his albums. His albums
that let down.
Have never hit the Oracle 3. Yeah, the Oracle 3 was dope. That came out 2 years ago, I think now. That was really good. So when he announced that he was doing this, and it was on BSF and DJ Shay, who was giving a lot of fire to Conway and the rest of Griselda, RIP to DJ Shay. But I was really kind of hyped for this because I thought, it's gonna be Graph and kind of BSF and DJ Shay beats, like can't miss. But it did. It missed. I didn't like it. The beats weren't good. Graph didn't sound inspired at all. The hooks were bad. I just didn't like it, man. I was really disappointed in that album. I was, because when I saw who was involved and stuff, I thought, yeah, they've really got it together. But it's called Stop Calling Art Content.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy that album at all. So I was really disappointed in that. The next one is Flea Lord and Rock Marcy Delgado. Flea Lord did too much last year.
Yeah.
If there was anyone to receive a "You're Doing Too Much" award, it will be him.
Definitely, man.
He just dropped too much, man, and it just got to the point where I just didn't want to hear anything from him anymore, whether it be a feature or anything. I was because he doesn't change his style or any like he's just the same on every project. Doesn't matter who the producer is or what. He's Flea Lord on every song. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So with this project now, I thought, maybe Marcy might be able to do what he did with Stove and bring something out, but the beats weren't good to me.
Nah.
The raps were again very mundane. Flea Lord, typical. I don't like his tag either. That Lord, I don't like that.
Yeah.
It didn't.
I'm
a
Flea fan, definitely though.
I don't mind Flea. I'm not against him. I just think he did too much, and that just made me not want to check him out anymore. Because once you get to, it's almost like if you've just drunk a lot of water during the day and your body's like, bro, don't you dare put one more glass of water in me because I've had enough. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like the jug is full, and I'll need you to do something that blows me away for me to check you out again because I've got stuff I haven't even heard from him because he just dropped so much. I was like, okay,
too much. Yeah, he definitely needs to chill. He should take a couple of years. Well, not a couple of years, but he should take a bit of time and chill. Yeah,
6 months, whatever. But this, I thought, okay, Rock Marcy. I love Rock Marcy, but nah, it's not a combo that I needed. I don't think Rock's beats were good, and I don't think the raps weren't bad, but they weren't good either. If they were just
no, I hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, I was disappointed in that. I thought maybe that collab would be worth checking out. And the last one I was disappointed by was Joel Ortiz Signature. And I was disappointed in that because Joel Ortiz's last album, Mona Lisa, not his last album, sorry, because he did Monday in between. The album, because Monday was good as well. I enjoyed Monday.
Monday was deep, man. Yeah.
It was good. But Mona Lisa is his best album. You can argue with me all you want. But Apollo Brown and Joel Ortiz is a great combination. If you listen to the album top to bottom and listen to what he's talking about and his subject matter, and he was getting real introspective, and he just sounded at his best on that album. And Apollo Brown has always delivered, the perfect beats for him. So I thought, if he's dropping something, and Apollo Brown was on two tunes, I think, off the album, Signature, and I was like, okay, this could work. But then Heatmakers was all over it, and I thought Heatmakers is very mid 2000s.
I was just gonna say it's not.
Yeah, it just feels a bit dated. I just didn't enjoy it musically. I thought maybe he might, after Monday, which was another good project as we said, maybe he might drop some fire on this, but I just didn't like it. I like Joel Ortiz a lot. I think he's a really good underrated MC. He can do just bars if he wants. He can do introspection if he wants. He can do storytelling. He can do braggadocious. He could do it all if he wants. And I just think Apollo Brown brought the best out of him, and this just didn't. So I was disappointed in that album.
Yeah, I hear that, man. Yeah, good choices, man. I agree with the graph. The only track I really revisit is the one with Styles P and Bun B. So yeah, I didn't really spin that a lot, to be honest. Yeah, I thought the Joel was decent, but like you said, I haven't really gone back to it much. So
it's not bad. It's just nothing I want to hear again. But Mona Lisa, as soon as it finished, I wanted to play it again.
Definitely,
Monday,
man.
as soon as
That's
it finished,
still
I wanted to play it again. Yeah, man. So I was hoping for more of that.
Agreed, man. Okay, cool, man. And what was your second choice again?
Disappointing Flea Lord.
That's it, Flea Lord. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I didn't really enjoy that, man. And it's weird because obviously him dropping projects every month last year,
every 2 weeks.
I mean, you look, every 2 weeks. I guess it's like Papoose, isn't it? He's dropped an album every month this year, and no one speaks about it. I don't know if it's. But if you listen to every track, every album, there's definitely some really good tracks.
There probably will be, but
you get
Papoose has become a bit of a parody in it. I think people kind of forget that he can rap. Like they kind of take the piss out of him as if like he's
Mm.
a, he's under Remy Ma's, under her cloak or whatever. Kind of,
Yeah.
you're a side man. I just think he's disrespected. I think like he did a great thing, man. When she was in prison and stuff, and he like
He held it down, man.
did all that. He can rap, but
Yeah, there's no
I
doubt
think
about it.
what really hurt him was the whole thing about the 1.5 million man when he signed with Jive back in the day, and there was this whole hoopla. There was this bidding war with labels about him, and then just nothing happened. And I think that's just what hurt him. And then I think he came out with some corny stuff. He was just making a load of corny music. He was doing like it was like, how many alphabetical slaughters can you do, bro? Like how many times can you go through the alphabet? And people just kind of clowning him. And I think that just hurt him. So even though he's got ability and stuff, he just never made music that people wanted to hear. And I think however good you can rap, if you're not making music, Cassidy can rap, but he don't make music that anyone wants to hear anymore.
Yeah.
He's just one of those. Saigon again, he can rap, but he's dropped a couple projects. No one wants to hear it.
Yeah.
I think Papoose is kind of in that lane as well. He's just not making anything that people give a shit about, unfortunately.
And it definitely doesn't help putting out projects every month.
Nah,
like
because people ain't fucking with you like that. So for you to overload them with stuff, it's not really. You need to drop something that they really log into, like, rah, Papoose is back, and then it could have worked. Because I know, like, when Crooked did the weekly series, but at that time everyone was like, "Oh, I can't wait until Friday." When
Crooked that's a whole
drops the next freestyle. You know what I mean? So he had people tapped in, and he capitalized off that. So that was genius. But Papoose, I don't know what compelled him. I think he said he's retiring once December drops. That's going to be his last work, basically. But I don't know what compelled him to think that anyone wanted to. I'm not
12 projects like that.
Way.
I
don't know why he used that strategy when there was no clamor for his work. I don't know how well these albums have done, but I can't imagine. I haven't heard anyone talking about it. Even
I didn't know about them till like September.
There you go. I knew he was dropping them because I was like, why do I keep seeing Papoose like with a month? And then I thought by about March, I was like, oh, okay, I get what he's doing. Because I saw January and February, and then when March came out, I was like, okay, I get it. He's going to do one a month, and then I was just like, I don't know who's asking for this though. I don't know who's going to be waiting in line for a Papoose project every month, but it's there. So,
no, I hear that. All right, then. So my three disappointing ones, and there was a lot of albums that I'd say weren't good, but I've listed these because there's ones I probably expected. You know what I mean? Something from. It would definitely been the Alchemist and Boldy Jackson.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, sorry, Boldy James. Sorry, Bo Jackson project. Yeah, say no more. I've heard some people love it. I heard someone say it was one of the favorite albums of the year for them recently. But for me, it's a sleeper, bro.
Literally,
say no more.
Put me to sleep. I could use that as go to bed music. Boldy James does nothing for me at all. I don't understand that style and how anyone could say that was dope, but it's not for me.
Yeah, and I don't want to diss Alchemist. You know what I mean? He's one of my top 10 producers. But for me, I've not been overly impressed with what he's put out this year.
Nah, me neither.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's the same thing we're talking about, Philly and Papoose. I don't know if he needs to just chill a bit and just do some cohesive stuff.
It's different for me. It just hasn't been good. Like he did that Haram project, didn't like it. He did this Boldy James. He's dropping another one with Boldy James this week.
He is.
Again, I've got no interest in hearing it. A lot of his music has become. If you listen to the stuff he was doing before with like 360 Waves, D-Reg Dynasty, the stuff he was doing with with Gangrene,
bro, that's impeccable, man.
The stuff he was doing with Lord Steppington, Evidence, that kind of stuff was creative. Now it just feels like he's just punching it in. It doesn't feel. The last thing I liked from him was Alfredo. I love Alfredo, but I love what Freddie Gibbs did with those beats. I think if you gave those beats to maybe anyone else, it could have just been another okay, whatever. Because none of the beats were really like, wow, blow me away. But I think Freddie Gibbs made good songs out of those beats. You know what I mean? But Alchemist really I don't know. He hasn't been hitting for me for a while, if I'm being honest.
Nah, same. Same. But yeah, so yeah, definitely the Bo Jackson. Plugs I met too, definitely disappointed me.
Let me take a sip of wine for that one.
You're gonna need to, bro. Like we said before, Plugs one banger every track. Still in rotation for me. But yeah, Plugs two, you know, the whole Harry
To call
Ford
it Plugs 2 was a little bit of a diss, man. It was a little bit disrespectful to call it Plugs 2
Yeah, you
because
should have just dropped something, man.
it's nowhere near, man. It's not even on the same. It's not on the same plane at all.
That's very disappointing. I was actually looking forward to that, and I try not to, as we said before, I try not to look forward to too much, but I was looking forward to that off of the strength of Plugs one. Do you know what I'm saying? And the third one, sorry, Benny, but Benny again, Trust the Sopranos. Yeah, disappointing for me because everyone knows I say it on the timeline often. 38 Special, 38 Special. One of my favorites right now, man. His production can be hit and miss, but just as a rapper as well, I think he's brilliant, man. He reminds me of a Sean P almost. He's got the punchlines, he's got the humor. I think he's an elite rapper, man.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I was looking forward to that as well, but yeah, didn't hit the spot, man. So they're the three I'd say: Bo Jackson, Plugs 2, and Trust the Sopranos, man. The three of the ones that disappointed me this year.
All right. Well, I guess that's we haven't got anything else, have we?
We was going to look at maybe giving a newcomer shout out and maybe an MVP of the year just quickly for the last couple of minutes. So I'm just getting
newcomer of the year. For me, would definitely be Backward Sweetie. So if you haven't heard her music, check her out. Check that album out. Definitely some Black pride bleeding all through that album, and we need much more of that in hip hop. So big up to her for taking on that challenge and successfully dropping some fire. And also, as I said, Naps and Dreads. I only found out about him this year. He's dropped 2 fire projects this year. So if you haven't heard about him, check him out as well because he's dope. So yeah, those 2 are doing my newcomers of the year award.
Solid. All right, man. So for newcomer, I mentioned him earlier. I'm going to go with I Am God.
Is he new?
I don't want. That's why I was umming and ahhing. I know he's got a couple of projects dating back, probably a couple of years, ain't he?
Yeah.
But I'd say new. He's new to me, and I think new to quite a few people in the sense of.
But he's dope, man. So
yeah, I think maybe correct me if I'm wrong. If he's listening to the podcast, or anyone else who is, I think it maybe was it 2019. Might have been his first drop. I'm not sure, but I did want to put him down. So if he's not new enough, forgive me. But he's someone I would mention. I wanted to give a shout to the Cleaver as well, but I know he's been in the game a while. But yeah, that's who I was gonna go with. I Am God. I just think he's a dope rapper, bro. One thing about him as well, I will say, and about his work, he's not just a rapper. He's not just a good rapper. He gives you good projects, man. I've only heard 3 projects from him. But all 3 of them solid. Content, bars, everything you need. And the thing about me as well, let's be honest, man. We do this for the culture. We're here for the culture. We love the culture. So we support new artists, support underground artists, people on Twitter that maybe even doing their music, even if it's a retweet, a share or something, want to support what's coming up. But let's be honest, bro. Sometimes when you listen to a lot of the people who are maybe just starting out, they've got ways to go in it, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I find when I'm listening to more established music and music that's already on the scene and happening and doing, and then maybe newer music comes on, I find a lot of time maybe the quality, even if it's just because of the money spent on the engineering or the production or what have you, or even the MC's breath control or rapping ability, sometimes the quality can dip. The thing with I Am God, it never does. Like you can be listening to whatever established MC you want to, and then his music will come on. There's no dip, bro. I think he's polished.
He's got it. Yeah.
Yeah, he raps well. He's clear. For me as well, I'm one of them people. I think voice is important. You could have all the best lyrics in the world on paper. If I can't listen to your voice, it don't mean anything to me. I think he's got a dope voice as well. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to him, man. I think he's going to do big things over the next year.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope he gets his flowers for sure.
Definitely, man. And the last thing we was going to close with was who we think is the MVP of 2021.
That is tough.
It is very tough.
That is hard. For me, I think I just have to give it to that's hard. That is hard. Okay, so for me, the candidates are Husk Kingpin,
Mm-hmm.
Rome Streets, Dark Low, and Mark Homie.
Okay.
Those are the 4 candidates I'd say for MVP of the year in hip hop. Because Rome Streets has excelled. He's leveled up. He's dropped good projects.
Agreed.
Husk Kingpin has killed every project he's dropped, and he's done variety. Like for the stuff that he's done as well, is like, why did you do the Portishead album? But he made it work. Then he did a Brazil influenced album. Then he did the sex EP. Then he did a Christmas album.
Yeah,
so he's got the variety and he's got the quality. Crazy.
Definitely.
Mark Homie, as we've spoken about at length already. And Dark Low, as we've spoken about at length already. So all of them have a great shout. They've dropped multiple projects. They've been consistent. And the quality is good. And the replay value is good. Oh man. I might just have to give it to Huss because
okay. No, I think that's a good choice.
Because he's literally ticked every box. He's got variety, he's got quality, he's got consistency. So not only is he giving you quantity, but he's giving you quality, and that is a very, very, very hard thing to achieve. Because you normally get one or the other. It's normally quantity, like Flea Lord, or you get quality. So you might get someone who drops maybe one album every 5 years, but it's quality. You know what I mean? Like Kendrick, for instance. And then you have quality and quantity. That's hard, bro. Like people could have been like, "Oh, that's too much Huss," but no one is. Everyone's like, "Oh, Huss, drop it, cool," because they know that the quality's been high. I can only say Huss, man.
Nah, it's valid, man. Agree with you, man.
And
I'm gonna pick one
he chose as well. That's just so impressive to me. Like not a lot. I'm not gonna say not a lot. People knew about Portishead, but for this dude to go and take Dummy and like, bro, he killed it, man. He killed it.
Nah, there's no doubt about it, man. Definitely, lots of pieces are still in rotation, man. He's effortlessly smooth as well, man.
Yeah, man. And that,
do you know what I mean?
Just all of it, bro. Just, yeah. So yeah, man. What about you?
Definitely, good choice. I'm going to go with one of your candidates. I would have Huss as a honourable mention. I'm going to go with Rome Streets. Same reason. I think I'm trying not just to go with people who's put out multiple, because like you said, it's multiple and quality. I think he has put out quality. The work with Muggs, for me, I think the only thing that let that down slightly was Muggs' production. Respect to Muggs, and he's who he is, man. So I'm not taking anything away from him, but his production just wasn't really for me on that album. But when you listen to that album multiple times, Rome don't drop a beat, bro. Rome's hard on it, man. It's just the production for me. If the production was different, I would listen to that a lot more. Obviously, the Future Wave work, even the work with Ransom. For me, I was expecting Ransom to just kind of blow him out of the water lyrically, if I'm honest. But that didn't happen. So I think for the culture as well, I'd go with Rome Streets for what he's put out for the culture, and probably have Huss as an honourable mention. But yeah, man, that's me.
Yeah, so 2021 in the can. It's been fun. We've really enjoyed it, as we said at the top of the show. And yeah, we're gonna do bigger and better in 2022, man.
Definitely, man. Stick with us.
The world is changing right before our eyes. Nothing is promised. As we speak, we're in the middle of football games being cancelled and all kinds of stuff jumping off. Like everyone's coming down with this damn COVID that's been messing with us the last 2 years. So if we're around to keep you guys entertained, if they lock us up again or anything like that, man, we're gonna keep it coming. So we've got some plans for 2022. We're not going to tell you what they are right now, but I think you're going to definitely enjoy what we've got coming. And I just thank you once again for sticking with us. and it's only been 12 episodes as well. It would have been maybe some more, if we didn't take a hiatus, or maybe if we started earlier in the year or whatever, or if we weren't skeptical about starting up a podcast, to make it the 1 million and one podcast that's out there at the moment. But just for everyone that checks for us, man, that looks forward to hearing us every week, that interacts with us, sends comments, retweets us, shares us. Big up to all of you, man.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, big respect to all you guys. And we'll see you on the other side in 2022. So this was the wrap-up show, man, with me, your boy Slack, and my co-host extraordinaire.
Bless you all, man. Appreciate you, man. Like Slack said, thank you, man. It's been a good one. Catch you on the other side, man.
Appreciate you. Big love. And we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace, man.